Hi, it's Sky. So, around this time last year, I took the veterinary licensure exam. The final exam you have to take after 6 long years of veterinary medicine that will make you a veterinarian. And I rank second among the top scorers. Cool. I've been helping people here and there out when it's their turn to take the exam and have been asked for tips myself. So why not make a video about it? Tip number 1. Test yourself, test yourself, test yourself. I know what you're thinking of. Tip number 1, test? But I haven't reviewed anything yet. That's the thing. Even if you haven't reviewed the subject yet, test yourself. Actually, most especially if you haven't reviewed the subject yet. This is counterintuitive, yes. But we're not trying to put stuff in our heads. We're training ourselves to retrieve information from our heads. What's at play here is the elaborative retrieval hypothesis. This paper by Dunlosky and others explains it like this. Attempting to retrieve target information involves a search of long-term memory that activates related information. And this activated information may then be encoded along with the retrieved target, forming an elaborated trace that affords multiple pathways to facilitate later access to that information. What does that mean? So, test questions challenge you to attempt to retrieve target information. And in doing so, what happens in your mind is that you find related things too. You remember all these other things. As you bring the target information out, all the pathways to the related information are lit up as well. As a result, it'll be easier to access all of these later on. The later on part meaning the real tests. Another key part of the elaborative retrieval hypothesis is that the greater the mental effort invested in the retrieval of information, the wider the activation and the stronger the connections made. This is why I urge you not to spend time reviewing the subject yet. Because if the information you're looking for is in the yesterday box, then it doesn't take mental effort to get there. If the information is from a long time ago, like when you learned it in class, then you gotta think harder. And it's all the more rewarding when you successfully retrieve it. This is great for questions you answer correctly, right? What about the questions you get wrong? Well, then you can go to your textbook and fill that gap in your knowledge. And you can also do something with them in tip number 3. But first, tip number 2. Analyze test questions. This overlaps a little with the previous tip. While you're taking practice questions, take a look at key parts of the question that clue you into the right answer. Or among the choices, in multiple choice questions, which one of them stands out as the correct answer? Or if you can do something to them to make them stand out more. It's hard to explain all of this, and there are so many ways to go about this that I may make a series on how to analyze test questions, but for now, here's a quick example. A 17-kilogram dog is diagnosed with congestive heart failure. Among the medications prescribed to him is the positive inotropic drug pimobendan. How many milligrams of the drug must the dog receive per dose? A. 2.50 milligrams. B. 3.75 milligrams. C. 4.25 milligrams, or D, 5 milligrams. Let's say you don't know the dose of pimobendan. None of the choices particularly stand out at this time. Let's mess around with them. I'm going to divide each of the choices with the weight of the dog given in the question. See, when you divide the milligrams by kilogram, what you get is the dose. So, let's look for a choice that looks like a dose. A. 2.50 milligrams divided by 17 kilograms is 0.1470588 milligrams per kilogram. Doesn't look like a nice round number for a dose. Next, letter B. 3.75 milligrams divided by 17 kilograms is 0.2205882 milligrams per kilogram. Nope. Letter C. 4.25 milligrams divided by 17 kilograms is 0.25 milligrams per kilogram. Promising. And letter D. 5 milligrams divided by 17 kilograms is 0.2941176 milligrams per kilogram. So the choice that stands out the most is choice C. Thus our answer is C, 4.25 milligrams. Don't be fooled by choice D because 5 milligrams is a nice round number. The correct answer is C. And true enough, the dose of primobendan is 0.25 milligrams per kilogram. Reverse engineer the question, if you will. Get into the mind of the examiner. There are choices that they want you to pick, or choices to misdirect you. You gotta think like them. Making questions yourself also helps you get into the mind of the examiner. Which brings me to the next tip. Tip number 3. Q&A with friends. The journey is always more fun when you've got your friends with you. If your friends are amenable, schedule group review sessions. This may be in person or online. My friends and I did this weekly on Discord. Each person will bring a set of questions with them to quiz all the rest. Here, I suggest sharing questions from your practice test that you get wrong often, from tip number 1. Or questions you made yourself, from tip number 2. Or any peculiar or interesting questions that will be fun to share. Discussing these in a group makes use of the Feynman technique, where when you explain things in simple language, you gain a better grasp of the subject yourself. Plus, you learn what your friends know too. This also breaks the monotony of studying alone in your room, and helps you form new associations with concepts as you share them with your friends. Have fun! Someone will make a joke about the question and you'll remember it forever. Bonus tip. Take care of yourself. Eat well, exercise, take breaks. And most importantly, get enough sleep. Because this is when you solidify the connections you made while studying. And that's it for this video. It's a new animated format that took a lot of work to make. I hope this helps. You can watch one of my other videos if you click here and here. And if you like what I do, consider giving me a tip on Ko-fi. Link in the description. Thank you for watching!